SFL, it's Gee and Will. We are here for a very special podcast of the playoff specials. And I'm gonna let Will start this whole thing off.
Well, sure. I mean, before we get started, though, any parents die today? With any, I was dying laughing when that whole situation. I'm so sorry, but it was funny. And the conversation between me and Guy, trying to figure out something. But Guy just gets out there. He puts himself out there. I love it. Um, let's just talk about my game in general to the playoff standing. So myself and Robert. Robert's a game ahead of me. However, I had the tie. I beat Robert the first time we played. I win. I'm the number 2 seed. Pretty simple. And Victor's number 1 because he has a tiebreaker over. He doesn't even matter if he wins or loses. Robert wins. Then Robert's the number 1 seed. He gets the bye. I go to number 4. So that's basically it. Either I'm going to be number 2 or number 4, and Robert's either going to be number 1 or number 4. So the good thing for Victor is he's going to be cheering for me this week because if I win, it doesn't matter what happens in this game. Well, it
it,
doesn't matter either way what happens in this game, I guess.
yeah. Um, and the top is really easy to, or at least on you guys, right? You got one, two, and four. That's what you guys are destined for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, So the teams that we know 100% are going to make the playoffs are yourself, we got Rob, and we got Victor, and we got Jordan. That's four teams, right?
Well, wait, I don't know. Well, not Jordan right now. Right now
Jordan's
he
making the
is.
playoffs, no matter what,
Oh, because of the points. I
because of
got
the
you. I got you.
points. He's making
I
the
hear you.
playoffs no matter what. So those are the teams that we know are going to make the playoffs, right? And we got seven spots, so we got to figure out the other three. And it's basically gonna come down to the teams that are in the running are myself, like realistically in the running. There are some teams that have fringe chances of like some crazy bullshit happening. I won't go through that, but the realistic teams are myself, who are both one win ahead of everybody. We got D Haas, Dylan, and Holden. So that's five teams trying to go for three spots. Two people are going to be very sad. Um, and Gary has a sneaky way. In one scenario, Gary has like a realistic chance to get in, but that isn't just that one specific scenario. And the reason why that is because Jordan, we were like looking for this wild card, right? Team that's going to score the most. And because Jordan lost his games, and because Human won his games, there are a bunch of teams that had a chance to get into the wild card spot that are now really hard to get into that wild card spot. So we'll go into it. Um, the tricky, like one of the trickiest part of the scenario is the Donnie's division, right? So in the Donnie's division, let's go in here. We got all of you fuckers at 6 and 7. Okay, it is literally possible for every single one of you to win your division, and whoever one of you wins your division, you are into the 3 seed. Whoever wins this division gets the 3 seed and makes the playoffs. Now, there will be two games for that division. Let me read here what I have written down to make sure. So we got four different scenarios because of, well, it's more like five scenarios um, over these two. Okay, so because you guys are playing each other, we got the Magic Skull Bus versus the Truck Stop Glory Hole, and we got the Hasbands versus the Elderly Gangbang. Okay, so scenario one, Jordan wins and Dehaz wins. Scenario two, Jordan wins and Holden wins. Scenario three, Dylan wins, Dehaz wins. Scenario four, Dylan wins and Holden wins. Those are the four different scenarios. With the sneaky fifth scenario is Scenario 4 with Dylan wins and Holden wins, but Holden passes Dylan in the number of points scored because at the moment Holden is about uh, 40 points behind Dylan in the standings. If Holden, if scenario 4 happens where Dylan wins and Holden wins, and Holden scores 40 more points than Dylan, then Holden actually gets the 3 seed. So those are the first 5 scenarios. Um, Anything you want to say until then for now, Will?
No, I think if you break down each scenario one by one, starting with the Jordan and D Haas.
All right. So, um, so Jordan, Andy Haas wins. If that scenario happens, Jordan and D Haas are both tied in their head-to-head, so it goes to points as their tiebreaker, and we can safely say that Jordan is going to win the tiebreaker, considering he has 180 more points than D Haas, right? So, like, again, I'm on these scenarios. I didn't go out on the crazy out in the limb scenarios where people are scoring like over 200 points differences, right? I'm like trying to keep in these situations where someone can pass someone on points. I'm trying to keep it like around the 100 mark or below. Okay, those are the realistic scenarios. I didn't really explore these too crazy scenarios. So again, in scenario 1, Jordan is a 3 seed. In scenario 2, which is Jordan and Holden win, Holden has the head-to-head record, so Holden becomes the number 3 seed. Scenario 3, where Dylan and Dehas wins, right? They are both tied on head-to-head. It will go to points. Dehas is ahead of Dylan by 110 or so. So scenario 3, we are gonna say that Dehas is going to get the 3 seed. Scenario 4, Dylan wins and Holden wins. Uh, Dylan's ahead of Holden by like 40, 50 points. So Holden becomes a 3 seed. But in case Holden becomes a 3 seed, because he does manage to get that 50 points on Holden this week, or Holden gets managed to get that 50 points on Dylan this week, then he becomes the 3 seed. So again, every single team can be the 3 seed in this division. They can all win it. Just depends on who wins what games. So
And the likelihood, I mean, the lowest possibility is probably Dylan being the 3 seed, just by points and then things like that, right?
yeah, because because of him technically being able to lose
Oh,
50
actually,
points
sorry,
to
it's Holden. Holden has the lowest chance because no, I guess not because he has
no.
some tiebreakers. So I thought it was because of the 40 points. So I'm wrong. I'm off. My
Nope,
bad.
nope. So again, in scenario 1, Jordan is a 3 seed. Scenario 2, Holden is a 3 seed. Scenario 3, Dehaz is a 3 seed. Scenario 4, Dylan is most likely going to be the 3 seed. So in a rare occasion,
Gotcha.
Holden is the 3 seed on those scenarios as well.
Gotcha. Okay, so Holden has probably the second best chance
Yeah.
of doing it. But um overall though, Jordan's in no matter what, as you stated.
Yeah, pretty much.
If Jordan and D Haas both lose this week, then that means that you and Huma are definitely in.
Well, what? No. Oh, is which scenario is that?
That would be gosh, you have so many scenarios.
Jordan wins, D Haas wins is 1. Jordan wins, Holden wins 2. Dylan wins, D Haas wins is 3. Dylan wins, Holden wins is 4.
Okay. So my thing was that scenario 3, right,
Dylan and
was
D
Dylan.
Haas.
No, number 4. Dylan wins and Holden wins.
Okay.
If Dylan wins and Holden wins, then you guys are all in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, I think.
Let me double check that because I have those scenarios come in. No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. uh, yeah, it gets tricky. So again, the other curveball. So the Donnies is the biggest curveball here. It's because all those 4 games or those 2 games all matter very much, and all of you guys and the Donnies have a chance to make the playoffs. The other 2 games that matter would be my game, the Guillotine versus Marsh or versus House of Priapism, and Human's game against Victor, so Razor's Edge versus Cream Pie Cupcake. Okay. Basically, everybody is rooting for Cream Pie Cupcake, most likely. Uh, and the Donnies are rooting for both myself and Human to lose because that gives them the biggest chance. Because if either of us wins our game, we guarantee a spot in the playoffs, either fifth or sixth. So the fifth or sixth seed, if either of us wins, we are in the playoffs, right? So that would be the other scenarios that I have here, which is an additional set of scenarios. Okay, so let's call these scenarios B. So, scenario 1 is both Human and myself win. We both get into the playoff, right? Scenario 2B, I win and he loses. That means I become the 5th seed and he becomes a 7 and 17. Scenario 3 is he wins and I lose. He's 5th seed and I'm a 7 and 17. And then, comes down to tiebreakers. And scenario 4B is both of us lose. If both of us lose, then we're both 7 and 7 teams, and then there becomes a situation where there are 3 7 and 7 teams trying to fight for those 2 spots.
I
Okay.
see. And so with that, let's go just to the end all be all. You both lose. All right. And we see D Haas and Jordan both will win,
D Haas and Jordan.
which is scenario 1.
Scenario 1.
So
So
4-1.
so uh that becomes Jordan is the 3 seed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And D Haas would get in for 7 for points.
Um D Haas, myself, and Human are all 7 to 7. It goes to points. D Haas wins and is 5th. Human tiebreakers me and is 6th. And then I'm the favorite for the 7th point with Dylan behind me by 70. So
Crazy.
that way we still both get into the playoffs. And that's because Jordan winning for Human and I is a very good thing.
Because it
Because
eliminates him out of the 7 spot.
or it's a good thing for me, not a good thing for Human. Actually, it's a bad thing for Human. But in a lot of cases. But yeah, but it takes him out of that 7th spot for the wild card spot. So let's go over all the Jordan win scenarios then. So 1-1, which is Jordan wins and D Haas wins. So we're gonna go all over all the scenarios where Jordan wins and D Haas wins. Okay. Um, if it's Jordan wins, D Haas wins, me and Human win, then that's all of us in the playoffs. Jordan's at 3, and then myself and Human 5 and 6. And then it goes down to the wild score points is D Haas is the favorite by a good margin. Again, 100 points. So he gets in.
And I would say that's the most likely scenario from the scores that we see right now.
Yeah.
You're talking about predictions 1-1. Jordan is the number 3. D Haas is 7. I think that's the.
So let's go.
That's what I want personally because I want to win and I want D Haas in the first round.
So the next one is scenario 1-2, where again Jordan is the 3 seed. I win and Human loses. So I become the 5th seed. D Haas and Human are both 7-7. D Haas has the or the head to head on him, becomes 6th, and then Dylan is the favorite for the wild card spot by points. So this is the one where Human gets knocked out, and because D Haas has a tiebreaker on him, gets the 6th spot. Now this is the one where everyone that is low on points is rooting for. This is specifically the situation where Gary can get into the playoffs because Gary is only 30 points behind Dylan. Okay, so if this situation happens where Jordan and D Haas both win and Human loses, then D Haas is into the playoffs and I'm into the playoffs. And that's everyone that scored high points this season. And now it's on to the next tier of scorers. And like this is the only scenario where all the higher scorers are out or already into the playoffs, I would say. And the wild card becomes more open. So Gary has a very realistic chance to get into the playoffs in this particular situation. But Dylan is still the favorite into the wild card spot there with his 2,089 points. Now the next scenario would be if Human wins and I lose. Now D Haas and I are both 7-7. I have the head to head on him. I become 6th, and then D Haas is the points favorite by like 100 points. So in that situation, D Haas still makes the playoffs. And we already went over what would happen if both Human and I lose. Anything confusing you as of yet?
It's not confusing. It's just a lot of scenarios.
It's a lot. I don't know if I should like share what I like my crazy written scribble notes or not.
You definitely can. I mean, I think like we talked about before, it's gonna be it's all gonna be about the matchups kind of thing. What matchup? I know that you talked about the matchups, but what do you think is gonna probably happen this week, matchup wise? Looking at the this week's scores.
Well, you would have to look at Hold on, I'm just looking here. You would have to look at what the actual games are going to be, and I figure we would save that to the end. Or do you want to do that now?
I mean, I think the other scenarios, I think if you post those, that might be helpful for people to read. But going through them, I think that's going to get confusing.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot easier because I'm reading them to me to keep up, and also because I was the one who wrote them.
Who made it all?
Yeah.
But I can get my game out of the way real quick if you want. Hope you lost.
Okay, so I think people can see this now. I think people can see my crazy scribbles on the pod while I'm talking. And I'll go over. We have done these scenarios here for everybody watching. You want to do your game?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, obviously Midnight Ride's coming out on Thursday. I'll go over some of the parts of the game in more detail, but bye week central for him. Only one player is on his bench that he actually currently has that he could substitute in, which is Lad. And I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play Lad. I know he's a little questionable, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does play Lad. But only one quarterback being Jameis. Hopefully, Jameis is not throwing the ball all over the yard like last night. But I still feel like if Purdy is back, even against Chicago's defense, I think I win this week. So it's set up real well for me. that he has all these buys. That's for sure.
Oh man, I messed up like the whole streaming setup. Look, missing this with this. Let me put it on your game. So yeah, that's a lot of buys, man. That's a lot of buys.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And I would say it's his maybe his three best players, other than of course Bowers.
I mean, Daniels and Mixon, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But and McLaurin, who's been coming off on lately, so he's missing probably his top wide receiver, his top running back, his two top quarterbacks. So if I don't win, then it just promotes the fact that I can't win in December. So I'll take that. I'll take that moniker and just wear it with pride, because it just depends this week on if Purdy plays and if he plays well.
Yeah. Let's go to the next game then. Is myself versus House of Priapism. I lost McCaffrey, and but I'm still projected to outscore him by 20 points. His optimum is 120, mine is 139. He no longer has Daniel Jones, so his quarterbacks are going to be Jared Goff and Caleb Williams.
Bear connection. He's going bear heavy again, probably, and depends on if Caleb gets some garbage time to take over,
Yeah.
and especially against San Francisco, it could happen because San Francisco they need to win, number one, but two, they need to put it on somebody. They just really do. So it's a good matchup for them to do so against the Bears. But it's going to be interesting. I think that you win, but I think without Lamb, if Lamb doesn't play, who do you start? Do you just go with Leggett?
Yeah, probably.
Johnson?
No, Philadelphia has got such a lockdown D against the wide receivers. That'd have to be QJ or MVS. I might look at the waiver wire to see if I find someone that I like too.
Yeah. Well, you definitely can, because your McCaffrey's done. So
yeah, I can throw him off the team, but
yeah. So
yeah, I'm still favorite to win this one. So there's that. So that's a likely scenario.
I mean, I don't want you to lose, but I think it'd be hilarious if Gary made the playoffs. So.
and that's how Gary makes the playoffs, isn't it? It's if I lose. Is that what it is?
You lose.
No, if I win. If I beat Gary.
Oh, you have to beat Gary.
I have
but
to
he has to score a bunch of points.
But he has to score
Gotcha.
So Jordan has
well, whatever. I'm just rooting for Gary to score a bunch of points. I don't care if you win or not. I mean,
Gary has to score a bunch of points, and I still have to beat him.
Yeah, okay.
That's how he gets into the playoffs. That's the only way he gets to the playoffs.
All right, so that's what I'm gonna be rooting for, because I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
So, like, I score 200, and he scores like 195, and then Dylan scores like 140. And then everything else falls into place. Jordan wins, D Haas wins, Human loses, or is it Human wins?
I think
Human wins.
Human wins, yeah.
No, Human loses. Human loses.
Oh, Human loses?
Jordan wins, I win, D Haas wins, Human loses. That's how Gary gets in there.
Gotcha. Well, I look at the toilet bowl game. Campbell Soup versus Kyle. Nothing to play for.
That's the most irrelevant game. We shouldn't talk about
it. True. I just think it's funny that even, let's say that Campbell Soup had a chance to make the playoffs, right? He has everyone on bye. and possibly, I guess Tyler Lockett will start for him. He doesn't have a second running back, does he? No. He's got to go pick up a running back. He's going to mess with the whole thing. He's going to pick up a running back that maybe somebody needs. that could be effective right there. Is affecting the whole waiver wire because he's gonna pick somebody up.
Does he even
Maybe
have?
he'll just.
Has
Maybe he
one, doesn't
won't. Maybe just keep setting the record and he keeps losing.
Oh man, yeah. He needs to pick up players if he wants to try to get not renamed.
No, I guess that's true.
2 weeks ago, he had a chance to make the playoffs, but what ended up happening is he started sucking real bad after the trade deadline. Stopped scoring
Mhm.
points, and then everybody let Human win. If there's a team that is like the lowest point scoring that has a chance to make the playoffs, it's the Razor's Edge. It's the only team that has not crossed 2,000 points and has a chance to make the playoffs, a realistic chance to make the playoffs.
Well, and it's even more realistic based upon the lineup that Cream Pie has thrown out there this week. He talked about it in the chat, but Coleman might play. I think he will, but Coleman plays. He's going to start Puka, but is Metcalf going to play? He didn't look great in the injury. Um, you know, I fear that he will have to dig into the waiver wire as well, and what's out there not enough to make an difference. I think Razor's Edge wins based upon the look at the lineups right now.
I don't want to hear that.
I know because Pacheco is going to get more time. It was kind of a snap count game last week, and so this week you get him on a full count. The man's scoring at least 12, maybe 15. If he gets the touchdowns, 20. I think Pacheco is gonna, beat expectations here. And then the only thing that it hurts Human is he just doesn't have a second quarterback. But that's why we want him in. We want him in so that maybe I should just lose, have him win, and then that way I get to play him in the first round.
That's a mind games.
Yeah, maybe that's what I do. Because I have how many guys I have on Monday night? I have one. No, I don't have anybody on Monday night. Dang it! I thought I had somebody on Monday night. I'd take him out and lose to Robert. Because that's what's gonna happen, Robert. I'm gonna have to lose on purpose because I'm gonna beat you by so much this week.
Yeah, this is really rough. With Victor has his entire Baltimore squad on bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't have his second quarterback either because he lined up 2 QBs on bye week on the same week.
It doesn't make. I hate the week 14 bye week. It's not helpful for fantasy. They should change that for us, the people.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do we go over Magic Skull Bus and Truck Stop Glory Hole? Because this game.
No, that's probably the game of the week. I would say.
Yeah.
Because they're two teams that I think that Dylan's team is dangerous. I think Jordan's team's a championship team. So this game matters the most to any playoff team that's in there right now because you don't want to see Jordan's team, and it's highly likely that Jordan will make the playoffs. It's a very small percentage.
99.9%.
Yeah. So we need some random things to happen. The only good thing for Dylan is right now Ferguson is still not going to play. So if that's true, Schoonmaker did not have a good game last week. I mean that whole offense wasn't great last week. So I fear for that one position for him, but other than that, you've got Wilson against Cleveland's defense. He did not do well last time against Cleveland's defense. Darnold against Atlanta, which Atlanta's not great, but they're sneaky with those picks and stuff. So I worry about this week for him. Where you see Dylan's got the matchups of the matchups. Stafford against Buffalo. Buffalo's defense is not great. They let points after points after points.
They let it on the ground. They're a run funnel. They're good against the pass.
True, but I'm thinking that you can dink and dunk them, but maybe not. You got the Chargers and Mahomes. I mean, obviously the Chargers are better than they've been, but I still think they're not the best on defense. So I don't know. And Keenan Allen's coming back. He's become a life in that
Yeah,
offense for
yeah,
Chicago. So
yeah.
I just see a lot of targets. I see a lot of targets for School Bus, and I see a lot of ifs with the defenses. So I like Dylan this week, even though I don't want Dylan to win, because if Dylan wins, then that means for sure that Truck Stop is probably the 7 seed.
Okay, let's go over. We went over what happens if Jordan wins.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over what happens if Dylan wins.
Okay.
So scenario 4-1 would be Dylan wins, uh, and Holden wins. So if Dylan wins and Holden wins his game, and then me and myself and Human win, that would put Dylan at the 3 seed, me at 5, Human at 6, and Jordan comes in at the points, the wild card. If I win and Human loses, that's me at 5th. Put Human and Holden at 7 and 7. Holden has the head-to-head on that one. Let me switch over to Notepad here and show you where you guys or I'm reading. Holden has the head-to-head. Goes into the 6th spot. Jordan goes into the 7th. Then if myself, if I lose and Human wins, Human gets the 5th. Me and Holden are 7 to 7. I have the tiebreaker on Holden, so I go into the 6th spot, and then Jordan gets the 7th. And then if both myself and Human loses, that's me, Human, and Holden at 7-7. It goes to points tiebreaker, which would be me at 5th. Holden is the tiebreaker on Human again, like I said. So he would go into 6. Human gets knocked out, and Jordan again with the 7th. There's
Yeah.
there's another one where Dylan wins. There's another scenario where Dylan wins, which is if Dylan wins and D Haas wins. That's scenario number 3. So it would be D's right here. Anything you want to say about those that I just went over?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that I will revise one statement. There's no way that Jordan doesn't make the playoffs.
Eh,
Jordan's in.
Jordan's in because
Yeah.
if he doesn't make it in normally, he's got like hundreds of points more than
Yeah.
anybody else. So he just gets in on the wild card.
I really need to make sure we need to make sure Jordan wins. So you know what? Skull Bus loses this week. Okay, Jordan wins. He's number 3. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to happen. I want that. I want D Haas to lose. I want D Haas to be knocked out of the playoffs. That's what I want.
Well, we're talking about Dylan winning right now. So there's
Mm-hmm.
one more scenario where Dylan wins, which is uh, Dylan wins and D Haas wins. So Dylan and D Haas would be the 7-7 teams. Again, if the scenario where Human and I both win, we're both in, and Jordan's in. If I win and Human's out, that means that Human and Dylan are 7-7 teams. Dylan has the head-to-head. Dylan makes it in 6. Jordan into the 7th. If Human wins and I lose, Dylan again has the head-to-head on me, so he makes it into the playoffs, and I get knocked out. Jordan at 7th. And then if myself, Human, and Dylan are all 7-7, Dylan has the head-to-head on both of us, so he's 5th. Human has the tiebreaker on me. He's 6th. Jordan's at 7th. This is my worst possible scenario right here, which is actually the Dylan and D Haas both winning. That is awful for me.
So if Dylan and D Haas both win, Jordan is 7th, 100%.
If Dylan and D Haas both win and I don't win, I'm out of the playoffs.
Even if Human doesn't win?
Even if Human doesn't win.
Okay.
Yep. Because Dylan has a tiebreaker on me.
So obviously you want to win.
Yeah, if I win, I'm into the playoffs no matter what. But
Gotcha.
if I lose, and then this is a situation where Dylan and D Haas both win, I'm knocked out.
Got it.
There's no
Well,
saving grace for me on that one. And then there's one more scenario which we haven't gone over. Actually, two more because I don't believe we went over the freak one. But there's the scenario 2 ones, which is Jordan wins and Holden wins. We haven't gone over that one. So this is the scenario where Holden is the number 3 seed. Again, if Human and I both win, we're both in the playoff with Jordan as 7th. If I win and Human loses, then we got Human and Jordan as 7 and 7. Human actually has the head-to-head on that one, so he gets in as the 6th and Jordan to the 7th. If Human wins and I lose, then it's me and Jordan into the head-to-head, which Jordan has the head-to-head on me, so he goes in. And D Haas is actually the favorite, as he's 40 points ahead of me. So D Haas is the favorite into the wild card spot in that situation, with me having a chance to pass him with 40 points. And then if both myself and Human lose, then Jordan goes in 5th with the points. Human comes in 6th with the tiebreaker, the head-to-head on me. And then D Haas is favorite on points, with again me 40 behind.
that's not good for you.
No, there's a lot of situations where I lose, and it's because I lost to Human, and now I'm paying for it because nobody in that damn division can beat this man.
Well, speaking of division, the last matchup that we didn't go over was Holden and D Haas, which we go back to, bye weeks galore again. CJ Stroud is not going to play. He's right now starting Blake Corum because he lost Jordan Mason. Blake Corum is getting like first quarter snaps and then maybe a snap every once in a while in the third and fourth.
I still don't
So
understand why D Haas didn't trade me for a running back in the trade deadline.
he's got to get rid of Blake or somebody. He's obviously, well, he's going to get rid of Mason. He's going to go for running back. Everyone is going for running backs, which is going to be interesting on later tomorrow morning, because running backs are the position that everyone's going to go for. He's missing his top 2 receivers.
Yep.
Next week. He's going to start 2 Green Bay guys. Not saying that Green Bay's offense is bad, but they share the targets. You never know who's going to get the ball in Green Bay, and he's not like he's got the number 1 option on any of these. Maybe Kraft had a big game last week, but and then you look at Holden's team, and again, Holden is deciding, I'm going to start Derek Carr against the Giants, probably a good move. And Tua against the Jets, maybe a good move, but I don't know. I don't believe in Holden's team because he's starting too many Jets, and the Jets aren't good.
But I mean, look at D Haas's team. He doesn't have anyone.
True. I mean,
he's projected 105.
That's crazy.
Does he even have points? Does he even have money to buy people on waiver?
I don't know. Does it show us? No, he has $0. $0. If I was Holden, I'd buy everybody $97. Just use them all right now, Holden. Use all your money right now and guarantee yourself in the playoffs. Who do you need? I don't know. Get rid of Schultz. You don't need Schultz. He's terrible. Or get rid of DeVito. Dear gosh. Or Olave.
Sure. I might end up buying a running back just to try to keep D Haas from winning, because D Haas winning is bad for me. I have tiebreaker on Holden. I want Holden to win.
There you go. So we have now colluded to take out D Haas. I appreciate this.
Yeah.
I know D Haas is probably happy about that too. We have now made sure that D Haas does not make the playoffs. That's a goal. It's a goal in life. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want D Haas to make the playoffs.
Yeah, especially because if D Haas does make the playoffs, I have to go hit up Gainwell for another cameo video, and I don't want that. I don't want to be spending another $50 on this guy. Okay, so please, somebody beat D Haas, so he's not in the 7. I'm not in number 2. We have to have Gainwell decide on it and have a magic. Have some magic.
Oh man.
Just crazy. The end of the year, all the scenarios, but then you look at the teams, and it's like the worst teams of all fantasy week this week for a lot of these lineups.
Yeah. Yeah. I I managed to not get myself too many bye weeks this week or any at all. I don't think because just the injuries got me.
Well, that's the reason why I made some trades. I was supposed to be a tremendous bye week person in week 14. Like I
Oh
had
really?
Sutton, I had I can't remember the other person I had. It was a running back, but I had a bunch of guys at 14, and I was like, nah, I don't want that because I don't want the same scenario always happens. I start losing, and I have to win in the last week to make the playoffs. But this time it didn't happen that way. So it's kind of nice though, Guy. You should be on my side, okay? I've not had to worry about making the playoffs for the past 4 weeks. I've been in the last 4 weeks. You know, you should be with me, okay? I'm in the playoffs. You're not yet, but maybe you will be.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I will be. Gosh, I hope I get in. It would suck if I didn't. I don't want to get renamed again.
I would love to see you renamed. That's the only thing I would like to see is you renamed.
Uh, um, is there anything else we should go over? Should we like try to see like there are people that were like kind of interested in exactly how they make the playoffs? We had like
Well,
should like we
we
break it down all the scenarios that certain people get into the playoffs or
maybe just simple things like looking at we talked about mine and Robert's thing.
yeah.
Um, so you win, and you're probably like 75% in.
No, if I win, I'm 100% in.
Oh, you're 100% in. Oh, that's right. So win and you're in. So we don't have to worry about anything else. Win, you're in.
Yeah. Same for
Gary,
Human. Same for Human. He wins, he's
same
in.
from Moon. Yes. Gary needs to score 300 points this week to have a
Gary
shot.
specifically needs um, Jordan Diaz to win
Mm. And score 300 points.
and me to win. He needs me, Jordan, and Diaz to win. And he doesn't have to score 300 points. He just has to score 30 more points than Dylan.
Mm. I would love it if Dylan, if that happened. That would be the best because it would make the wild card actually mean something.
Yeah, right? Like a 4-1 team gets in.
Yeah. Um, obviously, Jordan's 100% in. Doesn't matter if he wins or loses.
Nope.
In fact, if he loses, it hurts everyone. That
Uh,
like it hurts you and Human in case you lose because you can't take his spot in 7.
let's look at Holden. How does Holden get into the playoffs specifically? So he can get in by becoming the number 3 seed. And he's the number 3 seed in my scenario 2 in my notepad here. Let me go up to scenario 2. And that's when Jordan wins and Holden wins.
Because
Then
he's beaten Jordan twice.
because he's beaten Jordan twice, so he becomes the 3 seed. So that's one way that Holden is 100% into the playoffs. Let me look and see if I see any other ones with Holden getting into the playoffs.
If he
S-
wins, oh wait, that's right. The tiebreak between if you guys lose, let's see.
and then the other way that Holden makes the playoffs is if uh, he wins and Holden or Dylan and Holden win, he can also still make the playoffs um, if I win and Human loses. So
But he has to still win. He can't make the
He can't
playoffs at all if he loses.
if he loses. No,
Gotcha.
unless he ends up scoring.
No, he can't. 200 more points.
No. There's a situation where there's that one scenario the school bus can become the wild card spot, and Holden is 50 points behind Dylan. So in that scenario, the same one where I said Gary can become in the playoffs, it's the same thing. If Holden comes out and scores 50 more points than Dylan, he can make
Gotcha.
the playoffs there as the wild card as well. But yeah, but basically, Holden, you have to win. Um,
Dylan has to win more than likely. A win puts him in a better shot.
no. The best shot is Jordan wins.
Okay.
Yeah, if Jordan wins, then he wins the division. If he and Jordan both win, he wins the division and he's in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, if Dylan loses, he's basically out. More than likely, it's going to be a really hard scenario. Dylan has to win.
Isn't
Dylan has to win, and Holden has to win. They're the only two teams that have to. Well,
No.
you and Human have to win too. But I'm just saying, for the most part, Dylan and Holden have to win
if they want to make it in.
Correct. That's their best shot.
That's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Because D-Haas and Jordan, even if they lose, they still probably have. Well, obviously Jordan's 100%, but D-Haas, if he loses, he has probably a 60% chance to get in still. So, I mean, obviously he wants to win, but if he loses, he still has a big shot if Jordan wins.
Yeah.
So, I think that, like you said, it comes down to Jordan. Jordan wins, it helps everybody that's looking for a spot.
For the wild card spot. Yeah.
Correct. And then
But Dylan is playing against Jordan, and if Dylan wins, and specifically scenario 4 where Dylan wins and Holden wins, then he wins the division because he has the head to head on Holden.
And then finally, in the dudes, Razor's Edge, he's got to win to really have a shot. 7-7 for Human. He does have a lot of tiebreakers, though.
He has a lot of tiebreakers. He has tiebreakers on me specifically. So
Gotcha.
when we get into situations where both of us lose, he has a tiebreaker on me, and then he gets in and I get bumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. That's gonna be a fun week. It's gonna be a fun week. I'm hoping for a division win with a win against Martian Law on the toughest division of all the divisions. So looking for that. And if you look at we talked about budgets. Skull Bus has 0. Human has 0. Oh, good. It's good for all of us. Audie only has $1, so he's not going to mess up too much of the market.
Holden still has 100.
Gary's got 100. Gary should just screw everyone up. He should just go for it. Screw everybody. Bid everyone up. But it'll be fun and making the playoffs. Maybe next year we set a rule that you get $10 if you make the playoffs.
Oh, an extra $10 if you get in.
Why not? And you get $15 if you win your division. $15 if you win division. $10 if you do.
Oh, that's an interesting twist to it too.
That way you get $5 extra for winning division.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I like
we'll
it.
See.
I like it. But yeah, I think that covers everything. If you guys listen to this and it was just too hard to keep track of it, and you want to know more, I guess just bitch on the app, and then I'll respond or something. I don't know.
And maybe listen to this on 1.5 speed, okay? Because it might go a little faster for you.
Yeah, but it's also very information dense, so it might not stick on the 1.5.
So you go 2. That's what we're trying to say.
All right. That's all, I guess. Goodbye, everybody.
I mean, we had a great pod. Guy's praying for all your family members, and hopefully they're all safe. Mm-hmm. And I want to see the best ending possible, Guy. Okay, you had a good start. Let's get a good ending.
Yeah. I'm gonna miraculously have all of your teams fall apart at the very end of the season, and I'll bullshit luck my way into another championship.
Please no.
Can you believe 2-time back-to-back champion?
No.
2-time back-to-back champion?
No.
Can we do that? Can we do that?
No. No. We would rather all puke our guts out.
Alrighty. Thanks SFL. SFL. See you guys later. Bye.